Okay.
So here we are introducing Santa, and I think what we're trying to do is learn some lessons from you and how you go about your operation. And thank you for inviting us here to your office. We're privileged to be here, and we are going to learn from you today because you've been doing this for many years, haven't you?
Oh, centuries.
Centuries, and from your home with a series of teams, which presumably you know all about. And one of the things that I'd quite like to start with is what is home like?
Wonderful, really. It's wonderful. We've had a few centuries to get it right, and the kiddies always like to know, where does Santa actually live, you know? What's it like? They seem to sort of somewhere at the North Pole. It's easy. And in geology, a bit technical, but the ice is a few miles thick, but underneath is rocks. And we might have started with caves, but now it's a full Yule-type city. It's all just, there's loads of, there's lots lived there, lots of helpers, which we'll get to, but it's all done out, very nice. We, of course, our technology's a bit further on than human.
But how many live there?
How many?
And what are they
roughly,
like?
Well, there's about 40,000 pixies. And roughly about 120,000 elves. It's huge, it's a massive operation.
Gosh.
We've got everything from catering to engineering to, everything.
Can you tell me a bit about what it's like while you're preparing for this?
Oh,
event?
well, it's a full year's job. It's a full year's, that is our reason to exist. It comes from, we're a public service. We're not a corporation, we're not in it for profit. We're a public service. We do what we do, and we all live together as a happy family. There's no, we tell the elves that now and again. We all live as a happy family, and everybody works for everybody else. And we, like all public, we have a core strategy, and the core strategy lays out simply that we will deliver. You've got to remember it's difficult for us because we get one chance. It's not like, it's like this year, it's every year, on the evening of the 24th, we reckon we've got about 6 hours. The kiddies are put down to bed and the parents will have got them all quiet for about 10 o'clock. But they'll start waking up excited at 4. So we've got a 6-hour window, one night, and everything that we do is work towards that.
How do you handle the pixies and elves in that? You must have very good leadership qualities.
The different people, for a start off, they do two different things. Pixies, they're smaller. They're very wiry characters and thinnish, and they're about 4 foot. And I suppose you could describe their character as, first of all, they're mischievous. Pleasantly mischievous, mind. And they are extremely bright. They don't let on, but they are. Somebody said they're from an Irish background, but I don't know. There's possibly some Celtic issues there, but they're extremely bright. They do tend to do all the... Well, for a start off, a typical example is they're in charge of all the flight paths, all the loading schedules, all the where we'll be picking up the refill carriages and everything else. They run the administration and all the carry on the way. Well, we don't use money, but the health and safety, they run everything. Not that the elves are different. They get a bit bigger, sort of 5 foot, and they're so stocky. The one thing you've got to realise about an elf is his strength is fantastic. Absolutely, the bone structure and the muscle structure is so dense, they're practically indestructible. And the personality is, how can I describe it? I won't call them thick, but they're stupid. But above all else, they're lazy. They will not do anything unless they've been told 3 times, given a diagram, and told again.
Do you do that?
No. It's all... they organise themselves in many ways. But they sort of Rudy, my friend Rudy, my pal Rudolph, who, well, we'll get to him in a minute.
I was going to ask you about him.
He's in charge of a lot of the personnel issues. I'm best way is I remain aloof from a lot of it. I'm like your queen. I'm a personification of an idea. I represent the idea. You and me. Rudy's more involved. Well, drive isn't the word. He flies the sled nowadays and everything else. And but among themselves, you've got everybody has different jobs.
But if you were trying to make them, in your view, work slightly differently, who would instigate that?
You've no chance because they're all unioned up. It's a full closed shop. There's a full, because it's a social society that works for each other. They're all unioned up. Mrs. Thatcher never got near us because she couldn't find us. You know, you've got they're standard champs. You'll always get it. It comes in, it's up yours. Sometimes it means a cheer, or sometimes it means stuff you were not doing anything.
This is elves and the pixies.
Elves and pixies, although you know. And it's simple. There's the Union of Pixies and the Yuletide Officers and Uniform Rank Society. Up yours. And they use it as a chant. They're like, you know, you ask them to up yours. Or if they're celebrating, they all go round singing up yours, you with me?
When did that last happen?
They do it all the time. They do it all the time.
Every year?
All the time. It's their standard chant, because what it actually means to them is that we're all on side, we're all on message, we're all working together, and because we're all in the union. And they're very, the thing is,
they get the job done though, don't they?
Oh, right, absolutely. I mean, the Pixies, they're very urbane, and because they're bright and do management things, they sort of lose sometimes. They lose the central message about whether you can't cut it any other way. Where about the delivery of the central message about the good news of the birth of Jesus and the associated Yuletide celebrations. There's no other way to put it, and we get a very short time scale to do it. They've come up with, there's also the one that came up for centuries ago. It's now in the core strategy. The elves use it a lot. They tend to there's a standard strapline which encompasses simple. The children expect it. You with me?
Yeah.
There's no excuses. We don't want to hear about excuses or lies or what have you. On the 24th we are going. We go out at roughly 10 o'clock we take off. And we'll be back by 4.
I was going to ask you about your sleigh. Would that be an appropriate time?
Well, the sleigh is something, it's not like you see on the cards. But because the technology now, how can you imagine it? Can you imagine a big, long bullet train that's nuclear powered with all the avionics you can think of? It's got all the ground modelling terrain radar, over the horizon radar, everything, and it's fully encased. Because the question we children often ask, or if they could ask, would say, well, how do you get round the world in just like that? Simple. That damn thing moves at light speed. And when you're travelling close onto light speed, now this is interesting. Rudy, my chum Rudy, he has a problem as well. I can't get him out of the bar. That's why he's got a red nose. And the other thing is, given any excuse, he's up on his hind legs. Who's up wanting a fight? He's the most cantankerous, I love him to bits really, but he's the most cantankerous, surly little creature you've ever met.
So where does he position himself in relation to the bullet train?
Oh, he's at the front. He flies the bullet train. I basically sit behind him, and I've got all the stuff to check the dispersal of goodwill and presents and everything else. His head-up display is duplicated to me. And this nuclear-powered thing, there's hundreds of carriages. The main maintenance hall's like 5 miles long. We've got 4 of them. One's permanently saved and works permanently in case we have to assist. And then we rotate the other 3. When it's done 1 year, it's taken out, maintained and moved on. Anyway, Rudy sits at the front. And I swear he has to be drunk to do it. Because when you're travelling at like 0.7 of light speed, you know, the slightest mistake, and well, it's a disaster. And he sits there, and he just sits, and he has his seat styled like a motorbike because he's a bike fanatic. Simple. Acceleration, brakes, and off he goes. And this bullet train, the people say, well, how can you survive on it? Simple. It has a simple electromagnetic casing that's generated. That absorbs all radar, so we're never seen. You with me? And then the elves get on, and all the prezzies are passed down and dispersed as we go round, along with goodwill. And
do you get checked by the authorities?
No.
No. How?
Occasionally.
Yes.
We've had, well, I won't say deliberately, we got, that was a debacle. We've only just recovered from that last year.
What was that?
Well,
would you mind telling us?
We can detach the sleigh. Anyway, we fly by waypoints, and our first stop usually is Yorkshire. We always seem to get trouble in Yorkshire. What is it with these people?
We're in front of Yorkshire now.
Well, yes. That's why I've got a map up, because it reminds me of that's where all the errors are. We pulled up, we took the sleigh down. I think it was somewhere in Garforth, I seem to remember. Sleigh comes down. And it's a typical sort of semi in Garforth. The snow's everywhere, there's fairy lights round the window, snowman in the front garden with the coal for its eyes and a sort of carrot for its nose. The elf went down the elf went down the chimney on this one, but just as a moment. Who on earth possessed you lot to start allowing them to build houses without chimneys? Have you any idea the trouble it could? The elves love it, of course, because they've got to jemmy the back door. Bit of breaking and entering, boss, they love it. You know.
Well,
so,
the plans panel is trying to reintroduce that.
Well, I hope so, because it causes me no end of trouble. So anyway, we've landed this sled. Rudy wanted to come down to check something. I've got off to roll a ciggy. The elf's gone down the all of a sudden he popped up. This chap. No. Excuse me, could I ask you what you're doing? Me, of course. Normally people, I don't speak to humans, they don't see me. And I was absolutely speechless. Could I ask, excuse me, health and safety, this roof here is greater than 5 degrees. I noticed you haven't got the safety armour. Rudy's just looked round at him. The elf's come out the chimney and he's just seen a human, so he's like, whoa. And eventually I've managed to recover enough. I says to him, look, I said, I just reverted to standard default mode really. Hello, good evening, I'm Santa. You know, and we're just stopped. And then he comes out with like all these officious ones. The worst thing he could have said. He should have said something like, oh, excellent, can I have you got a bottle of whiskey? No problem. But no, he comes out with the classic one from all these sorts. Well, that's as maybe. What's that mean? That's as maybe. So I said, yes, I'm Sunday morning. Well, and I also noticed you haven't got a scaffold round there. I didn't know what to say. I'm spit. And then it happened.
What?
It happened. It's like a slow motion movie when you know. I seen Rudy. I heard him click. If you're familiar with motorbikes, the gear levers on the feet and the clutch. I heard him click it into neutral and he's let his hand off the clutch. I thought, oh God, no. Next thing I know, bam, he slotted him once. This poor sod's gone, whoa, and landed on the snowman. Screaming and hollering he was, carrying on. Rudy engages drive. The elf's having a wee in the gutter. You know, he's, oh dearie me, you know.
So you ended up not really having to comply with them?
No. Well, the sled
You've
is
got your own form of rules?
Yeah, well, the sled is self-levelling. And it actually hovers about 10 mil off the slates so we don't damage them. There's no way it's going to move. So anyway, we cleared off. I somehow had a feeling there would be trouble with that because come with February, an appointment come up for meeting scrutiny elves.
Scrutiny elves?
they're attached to policy, but internal audit. So they've come in. And
So do you have to present to them?
no. I don't do presentations to it. I'm the personification of Christmas. They've come in. Oh, hello, yes, we have a little problem. We've had an email from a chief executive about his staff being assaulted. A new one. I said, well, just pass it on to admin and deal with it. Yes, we just wanted to hear yours. So I explained what, and he said, well, he was hospitalised and he had to have an extraction. I'm thinking, extraction? Well, Rudy only swatted him on the shoulder. And then I realised, when I'd looked down, I thought he was squealing a bit high-pitched. I never worked out where that carrot went. You know me? So I worked it out. Anyway, I said to him, we'll send him some cheer and goodwill. Yeah. I said, whatever he wants for Christmas. At the time, they did tell me he wanted something like an arena. So we sent him a few bob for it.
That's nice. I've got a couple more questions. One thing that everybody's asking me to ask you, because this is a real privilege to be here, is have you ever missed anyone out? Or are there any sort of stories?
Well, now that's interesting, because we never missed anybody out by accident, I don't think, because that's what we do. The children expect it. If you are open to receiving Yuletide gifts and the, shall we say, the meaning of Yuletide, you're on the list. But this year, I have to say, we do miss people deliberately, and this year with regret. Started in February. Policy elves had done a health and safety assessment, and it was brought up later that there was a risk to Rudolph and everybody else. The possibility that, North Korea might loose a missile off. Anyway, it went to committee as a position statement and everything else, the strategy committee, and they did. And then they approved the thoughts, and all the background information and papers went with it, the full risk assessments. And it was regrettably decided that the risk to Rudolph, if he gets missile, just the possibility was too much.
No,
so we are regrettably going to miss North Korea this year.
That's helpful.
Because if anything happens to Rudy, I'd never forgive myself.
No, I can understand that. This is the final question. I noticed that your beard hasn't grown yet. No. But one of the questions we'd like an answer to is when you're not on duty or when you finish, sort of what you get up to and how you spend your time.
It's true. It's wonderful. It's sort of a set year. February, March preparation, all the laid loading schedules, and we go through the year. The sled for next year has been rebuilt, and then we get closer to time where everything's been checked. Rudy's out checking the sleigh. You'll have seen him. Looks like a shooting star, but it's him really. And then we do the run, and usually we go out through Europe basically and pick up all that, and then we pick up Australia, and the last run home across the Pacific, up through South America, through the States, Canada and home. We aim to be home for 4 o'clock, because we want to be home before, and then we have the Christmas bash. And then we get 3 weeks off, just to relax. And I don't know what else. Pixies, they tend to spend their time playing golf and chess and reading intellectual books, but the elves, not all of them go, and they asked me to go one year. I didn't want to go. I won't go again. They go to Africa. One, because they like the heat, and it's summer out there, but they go playing games, chasing lions, bullying hyenas, and playing rugby with the elephants. They're the only people I know that can scrum up with the elephants and win. They cheat, I know they cheat, they pull the trunks. They scrum down, they pull the trunks, and there's complaints, and the ball always comes out to a pixie. And I said, and then the favourite game, of course, is what they call the Zambezi Bath. What that means is simple. Straight in crocodile wrestling. They're dragging them out and beating them up. I have told them, you know, bearing in mind that they are all God's creatures and they carry the message, isn't that a bit unfair? I know they're not nice. Not Christmas now, boss. It's holiday time. And they're out with them. The wildebeest love them because they just get a free ride across. They can walk. After half an hour of them in there, they can walk across, you know. And then they start swinging them round like a hammer at the Olympics and seeing how far they can sling them back in. You know, and the poor crocodiles end up dazed and cleared off. It's, you know, and I say to them, you know, and I've always had a suspicion about this. It's funny how when they all come back and get off the sort of buses, they all seem to have a nice new pair of snazzy crocodile shoes and a handbag for the missus. And I keep saying, excuse me, bought it in a market, boss, bought it in a market. They've always got an answer. I said, yeah. Have you got a receipt? Lost it on the bus, sir, lost it on the bus. You know, I keep saying to them, do you think I'm silly? I know, you just can't win with them. They've always got an answer. And that's it, basically. We start the year again.
I think it's been a real privilege to hear the story. And unless there's any other thoughts, because we're never going to be able to meet you again, are we?
Well, no, I
or do you think we could?
Avoid.
Because you're probably aware that Leeds City Council, a lot of it is moving to Merrion House.
Oh, don't tell me about that. We had the same thing. Oh, some silly policy elf came up. We've all got our individual spaces and offices, and the elves, they're all split out into teams, you with me? They're very hierarchical, they bicker among themselves, all trying to be better than each other. Team leader elves, group manager elves, and the head of section elf. Oh, for God's sake, just get on with the job. You and me, anyway, they're sort of all working, you know, rapping and doing whatever. Some person came up with an idea that we'd all have uniform stations, and when you get up in the morning, you just stay, and we'd all work in one big cave. Well, I've never heard such rubbish in my life. The union, that was definitely a malicious up yours. They went through the roof, you know, up yours, we're not having that. The children won't expect it. And we're trialling it in certain areas, it's definitely not successful.
Were the elves different in their reaction to
the elves just like, you know, I mean, the elf enforcement division, oh, you don't want to meet them, they were in uproar. They just won't have it. The sickness went up, productivity went down, you know, and we'll have to revert to normal, I think. I do think this idea of, you know, the elves like to see the little pictures of the kiddies when they're working, you know, they like to see, you know, every elf takes they're very on message, you know, and that just destroyed morale completely, but we'll see how that pans out.
Well, thank you very much, Santa. It's been a real privilege to see you in your office environment.
Well, it's not much, but we do our best.
No, and you look remarkably like someone we know without a beard. When your beard grows,
You'll be
probably
surprised.
won't.
You'll be surprised. I do visit your world, but I visit incognito.
Yes.
Nobody knows who I am.
Yes. But thank you very much. We're very privileged to have
Well, it's
listening to your story.
And happy Christmas.
Yeah, thank you.